Hi, I'm Henry Crawford, and I'd like to show you how to prepare a poetry submission using one of the free submission templates on my website. To begin, just go to henrycrawfordpoetry.com. The site has a number of menu items and features that I'd recommend you take a look at, but for now, go to Poets Tools, and from there, click on Manuscript Templates. Here, you'll find a simple page with 4 buttons, allowing you to download templates for a short group of poems or even a complete manuscript. The blue buttons use a modern sans serif font, whereas the red buttons indicate a font more traditional, like Times New Roman, for the template. So clicking any of these buttons will bring down the template and download it to your own computer. So let me do that now with the Times New Roman, and I'm going to there it is, and it's down already. It is on my computer, and I open it up in Word. You'll want to ignore this internet warning. The document is fine. And so here we have our template ready to work with. Let me show you one thing about the template. I'm going to reduce its size here, and you can take a look. And so what we have is 3 pages of poems that are really placeholders. We have a placeholder table of contents and a placeholder title page. So we have all of that ready to go. And you can just add poems to them and send them off, hopefully. So let's do that. So say you want to submit a work to the New Yorker. You might want to put that in the title, call this the New Yorker, and then I'll say my best work, right? Because you probably want to send all of your best work to the New Yorker. I want to get that to look a little bit nice. Let's go. Nice little subtitle isn't perfect, but oh, what the heck. Now, these are the placeholder poems, and they're ready to be worked on. So I go to the first one, and what you'll want to do is get a little space in here so that you can put your own poem in, and then you can dub it with the actual styles that they'll need. Okay, so let's say I have a poem that's called Sonnet 29. I'll copy that and paste it right in. I'll give the title a heading 1. I'll get rid of the old heading 1. Let me just do that. Yep, there we go. And I'll get rid of the placeholder material below it. Just snip, snip, snip. And out it goes. There we go. Gone. All right, so there's Sonnet 29. What you'll notice immediately, as soon as these poems go in, if you right-click on the table of contents and say, update the field, there's our Sonnet 29 right there. Okay, good. So now let's put our second poem in. And that's going to go right here. Just like I did with the first one, I'll get a little space. Come over here and get the next poem. Say, for instance, this is one by Robert Frost, Acquainted with the Night. So I'll just grab that guy and plop him right in. I'll take this one and call it heading 1. Go over here, get rid of that. Okay, a little... Got to be careful with this stuff. There we go. And I also like to flush them up and get them nice looking like that. That's really nice. Okay, great. So then I'll come down here and get rid of these guys, the surplusage. And finally, say for instance you had a long poem, something like Elizabeth Bishop's The Moose. So I'll come by here and I'll just grab that whole thing and copy it, and then I'll plop it in. Getting ready to plop. There we go. And whoop, it's in. There we go. So I will come over here. I'll get rid of the surplusage. I'll come back up here. And what I'm going to do here is come all the way up to this one because I want to give it a normal style. We can see that the style changed when I put it in, which will sometimes happen when you copy these things. I just want to call it normal, which is paragraph, 0 after, line spacing, single. Dip. There we go. Fine. There we go. And now we got the moose, and let's give that heading 1. Here's poem 3. Get rid of that. And now we have a perfectly set forth poem. Now I want to show you what this looks like up at the top. If you go to the table of contents, these have not been updated yet, so let me update them. Boom, there we go. There's Acquainted with Night, the Moose, and Sonnet 29. Here's a tip. If you go Control F in Word like this, you'll bring up this navigation panel. And you can go to the headings. And so here are 3 poems. So say if I wanted to swap these two, I could take this and put it up here. Go over here, bring this one up. Yep. And now we have just swapped them without having to go and cut and paste and do any of that kind of folder roll. We now have, and I got to do that though too. You got to update the entire table. There we go. Acquainted with the Night, then Sonnet. And you can do this, which is nice if you're moving your poems around in your manuscript. It's just a really nice capability to have. Here I'll go in the update field and update the entire table this time. There we go. Look at that. So the moose comes in on 2 and the Sonnet 29 comes on at 6. So that is how that works. Okay, so here's the manuscript, and I click on it and I get rid of this warning, and now I have a Word document that has my book in it. Very good. And so I'm going to call this my book. And there we go. Maybe say, there we go, my name. And again, I want to probably make that kind of like a subtitle. Maybe like and put it, there we go, my book. There we go. And so here's the acknowledgement page, and you can put your acknowledgements down there. And that can go on and on and on because that section precedes the table of contents. So this is sort of a free-form section that you can play with as you're working on your manuscript. But here's the heart of the situation right here, the table of contents. And the only thing I want to point out, because this really does work just like the other one, and the only thing I want to point out is in this case, because we have an outline form, section titles get the heading 1 and the poems get heading 2 as their styles. So let me show you how that might work. So let's say I have a section here. Instead of saying section title, I'm going to call this My Life Part 1. Okay, so this is my book. This is My Life Part 1. And so this is my first poem, and that one is going to be called The Day I Was Born. All right, there, bored. Yeah. Okay, good. And so there we go. So what I have here is, you'll note that this is heading 2. And we'll note that the section is heading 1. So when I come back into this table of contents and update the field, just the same way I did the other one, we have this set off as the section, and these are the poems in that section. And essentially, that's the only difference here. But of course, the same navigation tools appear. So I can go to headings again and say, for instance, I wanted the next poem to be ahead of the day I was born. I can do that. And let me get this. Okay, great. So now we have, and let me update the table of contents so that we can see this. Yep, there we go. Update the field. Sure. How about doing that? Yep, there we go. See, so I moved around. So again, and I can take this poem. All right, let me go down here. This is something that you want to do in your manuscript many times, I'm sure. You want to see this one, This Day I Was Born. And let's move it to a completely different section. There we go. So now when we come back up to the table of contents, and I update the field, update entire table, the day I was born is now in section 2, which I haven't titled. But let's give that a little title here. Let's call this Part 2. There we go. And again, I'll come back over here and I will, there we go, update the field, update entire table. And so So this gives you a great deal of flexibility when you're working on your manuscript. The ability to just drag these poems all over the place. Oh, I like it in this section. No, I like it in that section. Or I'll rearrange this section, or change this title, blah, blah, blah. It's made very, very easy using a template like this one. So that's the story with document templates. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have a template of your own or want to contact me for any reason, please do. My email address is henrycrawfordpoetry@gmail.com. And happy poetry. So long.